To Karo Startup platform.
Sure.
And here, if you know about our vision, we want to connect all the entrepreneurs and startups who are, coming forward and taking steps into entrepreneurship and also leaving their jobs and do something different in their lives.
Hmm.
So, we found your journey very interesting, and you people, we are really hardworking. We have seen your journey, and also you were from sales background and marketing background, and after that you shifted to the entrepreneurship. So I
Hmm.
think things were very different. And right now, talking about Samosa King, it has raised like $2.7 million.
It's Samosa Singh, Madhumita.
Yeah, Samosa Singh. Sorry for the repetition. So, it's Samosa Singh has raised currently $2.7 million, and from the Japan-based venture. So, we will be sharing all the journeys about how did it started. So, we will be starting, Nidhi ma'am, from the introduction part. So, we want your little bit introduction, like your qualification and where are you from?
I'm sorry, and?
Where are you from?
Okay, okay. So I originally hail from Haryana, but I think Bangalore is as much as my home because I'm in the city for more than a decade now. And Samosa Singh is our first startup. Yes, it started by both Shikhar and me. We're both the co-founders. Shikhar is my husband. This was an idea which was with us for a very long time. However, we ventured into it about 4.5 years back. We were always passionate about food, doing something of our own, and we saw huge opportunity in the market. So we just ventured into it one fine day.
Okay, and
And by
um,
qualification, just because you asked, we're both scientists. We are biotechnologists and scientists. Shikhar has always been in the R&D side, and though I'm a scientist, but I've always been in the sales and marketing side of the science. So before starting our own venture, we were working both into biotechnology companies. I was heading up the business development and the sales for a US-based healthcare company, and Shikhar was in Biocon, which is India's largest biotech company, in the R&D department.
okay, great. And so you guys met on the, I think the company, right?
Sorry.
In the how do you guys meet?
We know each other for a very long time. We have had a very long association. No, we weren't working together.
Okay, fine. So how this idea came to your mind? Like, why you choose only samosa? Like, just wanted to know about the story behind this.
This is one question which everyone asks us, and to be honest, I just have one counter question, which is why not samosas? There's no
Definitely.
reason, we shouldn't be picking up this product. It's such a nice product, a very humble product, something which is known across the country. I think now I would say across the world, because this is one snack which has been conferred the title of an international snack. So
Hmm.
it kind of ticked all the boxes right, and we didn't see any reason why not pursue it, because this is one product which is loved by all. It's a
Yeah.
brand in itself. People love it. Even outside India, people are aware of it, yet there is nothing organized. It's highly scattered, very unorganized and fragmented market. There are
True.
so many startups, or there were so many companies which actually brought in the Western food in India and tried to, I would say, organize it, right? There could
Hmm.
be pizzas, burgers, and so many other food items. But when it
True.
comes to Indian snacks or traditional Indian street food, there aren't many options when it comes to the segmented or more organized market. And that's why
Hmm.
we thought it's an opportunity, we should leverage it, because this is one product everyone loves to eat, and no party is complete without samosas. So we thought, why don't
Very true.
we? I mean, I didn't see any reason of not picking this product. It's a simple product. That's the biggest challenge, but that's also the biggest advantage.
Yeah, even the when it comes to middle class or very high class, everybody's have the
Correct.
same choice of samosa. So
True.
definitely it's going to it's a very large scale to work with.
It is.
And also like at in which year you had this mindset of starting this?
This was with us for a very long time. I would say we were just started our career. We were just working when we saw that when we came to Bangalore initially, we didn't have many options to have samosas, and that was one thing we always used to crave. See, it's not just about samosas, it's about any Indian street food, right? It could
Hmm.
be samosa, chole chaats, it could be any street food. You really crave
Yeah,
it when you're hungry, during
true.
especially the time when we are talking, the
Hmm.
snacks time. This is the time when you crave for such food. And there weren't many options here. So we
Hmm.
always had this idea in our mind, but to be very honest, like you said, venturing into something is very challenging versus thinking about it. So we've been thinking about
Correct.
it for very long. I would say we gave this idea at least 3 to 4 years before we really embarked onto it.
Great. Okay, so I also heard about like you sold your flat so that you can start your venture. So the problem comes with the funds part also, and how to channelize everything when you think about a startup. So how did that this comes in, and your life I think got changed at that time when you started. So how was that time? Like
See,
you thought about it?
we actually, let me put this thing straight. This is something which was out there in the public, and a lot of people ask me that you sold your house to start the business. We never sold our house to start the business. We
Okay.
started with whatever savings we had, and we started with a very small venture. Obviously, this was something which was in our mind. So, definitely, we had done some savings. But then, whatever savings you do, business is very I mean, it's something which is very spontaneous. Every other day, you come up with a new challenge and you can't really be well prepped for it. So, while
Hmm.
we were just 3 months into the business, we really got a huge opportunity. And that opportunity required some amount of automation, some more amount of hiring, and a bigger space to work with. And before that, when we had started, we were just working out of a 300 square feet kitchen. So, obviously,
Hmm.
operating out of a 300 square feet kitchen, my capability was what? Max to max about 500 samosas in a day,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the opportunity that I could see, or the business that I could imagine, was something which was 10x of that. And in
Hmm.
order to be able to cover that,
Hmm.
or to cater it, I needed bigger manufacturing capability. I needed more team. I needed some more equipment. I needed a lot of other infrastructure. And
Hmm.
obviously, as any other entrepreneur, I had an option to let
Hmm.
that opportunity go,
Hmm.
and actually go step by step. Currently I was at 300 square feet. I could start a little bit later and then eventually go there. But the
Hmm.
kind of person we are, and we just couldn't let this opportunity go, and we thought sooner or later we really have to do it. So it
Hmm.
was the opportunity in the business that we
True.
strongly believed in, that we decided, that we had just recently bought that home, and we decided, why don't we just put that money, we sell this house and convert it into a factory. So it was
Hmm.
a very spontaneous decision, nothing that we were forced to do it just because the
Hmm.
business demanded. It was more about, we saw an opportunity which we believed in so much that we didn't really think twice about taking this bigger step of putting the money that we had into this.
Perfect. So, what about when pitching to the investor? Does any problem comes in, and how many investors did you guys reach to?
No, we never had a problem in raising funds or reaching out to investors, because we didn't really reach out to many investors. I had
Okay.
always heard about Fireside. That was our first investor, because they had supported the companies from the scratch. They had supported the food based companies and helped them grow. See, it's like I said, Madhumita, initially also, it's not, business is not about money. It's
Hmm.
more about whom you build your business with, whom you tie up with, whom you interact with. I think a lot of people ask me that, how are your investors? Are they putting a lot of pressure on you? This and that. Investors are not just about putting money.
Hmm.
Investors are also about guiding you, giving you some
Hmm.
kind of their advice, because they are in the industry. So obviously, we wanted to interact with, or more than that, we wanted to associate with someone who was in this industry, who had supported similar companies grow. And that's why
Hmm.
we approached Fireside. And again, if your idea is good, if you've not just idea, if your idea is good, and at the same time, if you've achieved it to a certain level, you've been able to prove the pilot, you'll never have issues in raising the funds.
True. Okay. So another question is like I'm an individual asking you, like before starting any startup or going for a fund. Is it important to show them the revenue you have generated already in the market, or the validating idea we have heard about, that is really important in the market, so that at least you can get the value of is it worth or in the market or not? So what are your opinions in this?
It matters. It
It
makes
matters.
the sell easier, because
So how did
obviously it's
you do
like,
it?
no, we never raised any money initially. We actually raised
Okay.
money a year and a half later. And we never raised money to sustain. We always raised money to expand. See, a lot of people, they say that money is raised to cover up your losses and this and that. Yes, when you expand, you certainly have some level of burn. But we never, I mean, Samosa Singh never raised money to be able to sustain. We actually raised money to be able to expand. So the first fund that we raised from Fireside was about a year and a half after being in the business. And that was after setting up substantial kitchens, substantial revenue, being able to interact a lot with the customers. And the reason we brought that funding in was to get our capability built up, was to move into a bigger factory. Because like I said, we started with 300 square feet, then we moved using our own house money and whatever, we moved to a 1500 square feet. And yes, with that first fund, we were able to scale it up to 5000 square feet. So it was more about expansion and not just about sustainability.
And now you guys have like 25,000 a day orders, right? That is a very good scale right now. So I think that is really appreciable and inspiring for all the entrepreneurs who are hearing right now. And ma'am, what is the team size currently Samosa Singh has?
We are a very lean team. My front runners, or you could say the one who run the cloud kitchens or the outlets, they are about average of 2 to 3 people per kitchen. So currently we have about a total workforce plus a very lean corporate team, including Shikhar and me, about 15 people together. So overall put together, we are a bandwidth of about 100 and 120.
Okay, and talking about the technology you told, like Cloud Kitchen, can you little bit elaborate about that? What are the technology you guys are using inside so that we can have a little bit idea about that?
See, we actually deal with the fresh food delivery across the city. We are currently expanding in the south part of India. And in terms of technology, I think we are not using a lot of technology, but yes, we've started using a significant involvement of the technology, primarily to understand what are consumers saying, what are the
Yeah.
market demands, how much, what time do people prefer what is the uptake, what do they like and what do they don't like, how do we reach more to the customers, how do we get in touch with people who have not liked our product that much, and how do we convert it into this. So all these segments and sectors actually help you know your customers and know the market better. So those are the kinds of technology that we're using, so that we are able to sector or fragment each and every order that we get. What are our target audience, how many are they consuming, what is the repeat order rate, what time do we get the maximum orders, what product do we get the orders maximum for. So a lot of other aspects in and around it. Definitely, because it's a food base, so in order to avoid wastage, we have to control our inventory, we have to manage the supply chain and all those things. So technology also comes into play for all these critical aspects.
Definitely. Okay. How challenging was it, like, quitting your job and, because at the very starting, at the very beginning, in every entrepreneurship or every, startup thing, you cannot, earn so much of money as you were earning at the very back at your job. So, was it difficult or struggling phase of your life? Would you like to share some?
It's always tough. Entrepreneurship doesn't come easy. It's easier said than done. Obviously, when you're working, you have a fixed income that comes to you. You spend accordingly. You're not accountable for anything. When you're into the business, you're actually accountable. Like I said, 100 plus people work for me, so you're basically accountable for each of their families running, right? I get my salary or no, that's secondary. What's most important is I'm able to pay them, or at least they are sustaining well. So it's a lot of responsibility, and certainly I think more than quitting the job, it's more about the most challenging part is not quitting the job. Actually, it's more about sustaining the positivity while in this journey. We are the first time entrepreneurs, haven't done it before, and I think with every, like you said, it still is. So every single day we are still learning, we are still coping, we're still learning and getting stronger day by day. It's challenging. I mean, I don't have any other way of putting it. I think entrepreneurship doesn't come easy. A lot of people think about it, but I would just have one thing: whenever you're thinking about it and when you think that you're really ready, only then you embark onto it. Because if you do it with half heart, or if you do it with, not 100% of yourself into it, you're not able to do. And we never quit our job after the business. We quit our job much before starting the business because we didn't want to have an option number two. So we were very clear that we would want to do it. And I've seen a lot of people who continue with their jobs and then set up the business. We weren't one of those. So Shikhar had quit his job at least I would say 8 months prior to starting Samosa Singh, because we quit the job, we started looking for place, we started figuring out the documentation part for the company, getting it registered, getting all the licenses done, and then finally doing some level of R&D and then starting. So it's
Hmm.
a full-time effort. You can't really do it with the job.
Yeah, that
And
is
yes, you
very
have to actually get away with your lifestyle initially with what you were doing while you were working. So
yeah, definitely.
it's a different ball game altogether.
Okay, but there is some sort of confidence also in yourself. You doing your work, other than doing for someone else, and having a 8 hours of a day, doing for someone else. So I think there is a this is something which is very important, which
That's
gives you
the core.
positivity in life.
That's the core. I mean, if you don't have it, if you still feel that you have an option B, trust me, when any challenges come, you tend to cling on option B because that's the human tendency. So that's why it's very important. Like I said, 100% sure. And if you're confident, just embark onto it.
Okay, ma'am. How many types of if I talk about samosas, like you guys are providing, like we can discuss few for the that we have not heard about.
My products are very simple. There won't be anything that you haven't heard of, because there one thing which I learned after being in the business is too much experimentation is not taken very positively by the market, because we are here to build a sustainable business and actually have multiple, repeat customer base and everything. So we did have very, very, I would say fancy varieties of samosas initially, but what
Hmm.
really worked was the basic. Like our name itself stands like a very basic or a very desi name, Samosa Singh. So even we deal with the very basic varieties of samosas. Our top
Hmm.
selling being aloo samosa or a masala corn, chicken, and few others. So it's all about the basic varieties, nothing fancy about it. Yes,
Okay.
we do have one product. We actually, which is a chocolate samosa, which we call it as a chocosa.
Chocos. Yeah, I
Yes,
was
but
going through the profile.
that's a very small sector of our market. It's a very small segment of our market that we cater to. Our primarily the samosas that we deal with are the traditional Indian flavored samosas. See, there were a lot of people who came to us, why don't you launch a cheese corn samosa? It's something which is loved by people.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
samosa Singh somehow doesn't really get into that cheese corn thing. So we came up with the masala tadka corn samosa, and it's doing
Hmm.
phenomenally well. It's one of our must tries. So we
Okay.
have about 8 to 10 varieties of samosas, and they're all Indian flavors, Indianized, that suits the Indian palate.
Okay. Talking about the COVID situation, does it affect your company as well? Like right now, you guys are must be providing the home deliveries, right? So,
Hmm.
does it affect it, and how did you cope up with that situation, or like how did it happen?
COVID was is still challenging. It's tough for everyone. I
Hmm.
think during COVID, thankfully, we were one of those companies where we did never had a demand issue. It
Hmm.
was more about the operational aspects to be able to fulfill the demand. The
Hmm.
market or the situation is certainly not what it used to be pre-COVID. Things are very challenging, very different. We're still coping up with it. I think what's becoming more challenging is nobody ever assumed or thought that it would stretch too far. We thought we
Hmm.
could actually get away with it maybe in a couple of months, but we are
Hmm.
in the fifth month already, just
Hmm.
August coming in, and it's really stretched a little too far. So certainly
Yeah.
as a company, even we are certain segments of our business which were more dependent on B2B partnerships are completely on, I would not even say hold, I would say they're completely on stop. But
Hmm.
yes, thankfully we have our own kitchens where we are supplying through these online delivery aggregators and partners, and that's
Yeah.
the part of the business which is doing very well. I would say the most important aspect that we learned during this COVID is to be completely self-reliable and not
Hmm.
really depend on the third party. Now, while this COVID thing happened, like I said, there were a lot of demands. But what
Hmm.
we were not able to get with some vendors who could fulfill us with those things. In order to make a samosa, you require certain things or some things from outside. But
Right.
what we have learned during this COVID is that there's nothing that you can't do internally or in-house. So in the last 3 months,
Hmm.
whatever, except for the basic vegetables and the ingredients and other things, whatever it requires for me to be, to be able to make it available on my menu, we are actually making it everything in-house in my own manufacturing facility. Earlier, our manufacturing facility was always about a few samosas and other things. Now we even do ancillary products that go with it, be it your chutneys that go with the samosas. Rather than procuring it from a third party, we now do it in house.
Hmm.
One of our products is a samosa pav that people like.
Okay.
We take the Bailey pav or a
Hmm.
samosa pav, and then people love it. It's kind of becomes like a nice breakfast menu option. And
Hmm.
obviously, like any other company, we used to make samosas in house and procure the pav from outside. During
Hmm.
COVID, our supply chain hit the most, and we didn't really got good supplies of pav. What we got would get expire very soon, or they were not that fresh. And
Hmm.
certainly, in order to avoid the complaints, the first thing we did was, why can't we make our own pav?
Hmm.
We have
Right.
cooks, we have the facility, we have a kitchen, we have, at the end of the day, we are a manufacturing company, so certainly we can do it. So currently, I mean, I would say that's the thing which COVID taught us, that you really shouldn't be dependent, too much dependent on third party, and try to do the things on your own, and that's what we are doing. Certainly,
Yeah.
we are with the team every day. We work, we go to the offices, we are
Hmm.
with our frontliners. They are not alone, we are all together. So
Hmm.
we take all the necessary precautions, but the work has been like before.
Okay, how did your day started? Like from the morning to the evening and
How do
everything.
my days start? Now in COVID or generally?
Like generally, if we talk about, and also nowadays, you must be if you're going to office, then you can interact only. But from the working from home, sometimes you need to cooperate with the like this
It's
that we are doing.
see, one of the additional things that come with us is that being husband wife and being business partners, it's very difficult not to bring work home, right? Because it's just two of us together who stay, and then both of us at work and both of us here. So work, I mean, what's the conscious decision that we've taken is that when we get home, no matter what
Mm-hmm.
time it is, we intentionally do not try to bring too much work with us. So we tend to finish our
Right.
work, and when we come home, get it, so that at least we get some time. It's very important. I mean, entrepreneurship or any business for that matter is always on top of your head, and it's very important to take that little bit break in between, so that at least you clear off your mind and start thinking fresh, and that's how you start getting fresh ideas and you start doing much better than what you were doing earlier.
Very
So
true.
that's what we do. Yeah, working from home hasn't been too much for us. We've been, like I said, we keep visiting our factory, we keep going to our office. But yes, currently I'm at my home, and yeah, we do pretty much. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
do try to, we definitely make time for ourselves and things that we like to do.
And that is very important. So,
That's very, very important.
so how was your family reaction when you were, entering into entrepreneurship? So, how did they react? Because in we have seen many of the middle class family or someone people from they reacted like, अरे ये क्या कर रहे हो? मतलब अब कुछ
Of
नहीं बच
course.
गया तो अब ये business
isn't that
क्या
a
है ये?
very isn't that a very common reaction or something that we, I mean, I
Yeah.
was, like I said, Shikhar had quit his job 8 months prior starting the business. So obviously I never had the courage to tell my parents. I
Hmm.
didn't. I had to tell them just 1 or 2 months before starting the business, because that's the time when they would be required to be here and everything. So certainly the first reaction obviously was not very positive, because
Hmm.
it's very obvious for your parents to see you well settled, and that's what Shikhar and I were. And they
True.
would not really want you to do things that are not meant to be. I mean, I would say that's something which is out of the
Box.
normal. I mean, it's very
Hmm.
normal to be getting a good job and working. And we were
Yeah.
both doing phenomenally well. We were getting good salaries, and we were doing well in our career. I mean, there was no reason. So one question that my dad kept asking me for years, okay, for years, is
Hmm. Hmm.
why, what was the need, why? And I still couldn't, I mean, I just couldn't give him the answer why, because it's just because we wanted to. I mean, there's no other
Right.
answer why.
Right.
Because it's not that something was lacking in our lives and that's why we did it. It's just that we wanted to, and we just embarked onto it. I think definitely the first reaction wasn't very positive, or something that we were not expecting. It was but
Hmm.
obvious. But I think slowly even they got hang of it, and they're pretty much happy, or
And now they must be very proud of you guys, right?
yeah, they're happy, they're fine, they're okay. They're okay, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And what are the feedbacks you got from the people? Can you share some good feedbacks you have received from the people?
I mean, we obviously, when you deal with food, it's really good to see people writing to you and like during COVID times, the maximum time, I mean, we keep getting a lot of emails or comments or some write ups from the customers, and we've got the maximum of them during the COVID, where people have really thanked us to be able to deliver them good food and fresh food at their homes. So that's the time when we've received a lot of positive things. Uh, People have always liked us. I mean, they like it that we've taken a very simple product and we delivered it to them freshly. We've
Hmm.
also got some feedbacks, because when you're dealing with food, you obviously are also have that last mile preparation. There could be some
Hmm.
things which don't go well. So there have been those cases as well. But at the same time, we have a very proactive team who looks into any of the such concerns, and we
Hmm.
try to address them at the earliest. But I think more or so, we have always had most of them as happy customers, and they keep coming
Hmm.
back to us, and that is what is able to make Samosa Singh what we are, and that's why we are able to thrive and survive in this situation.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm done with my questions as of now, and I think I got fantastic answers, and also the people who will be watching us will be inspired from your journey and your story, so that they can implement in their lives as well. It's very important to make people aware. That's what we guys are doing, so that we are
Sure.
bringing stories so that people can think about it, and also who wants to get can get some encouragement from the people who are doing such a good jobs in their life.
No,
So,
thank you, Madhumita. Actually, it's same for us. I mean, I really do not. I mean, my agenda here is not to inspire or kind of do anything. It's actually to get inspired likewise, because sometimes when you are on this journey, things becomes real tough, and that's
mm,
where we when I say we, I mean me and Shikhar and my team. We actually draw our encouragement from. There's so many people in and around us that inspire us every single day. Like I said, that we are the first time entrepreneurs, learning every single day, learning with our journey, and we are still learning. We are open to it. We keep getting inspired ourselves when I see it. And one of the most inspiring things that I feel these days is how the frontliners, I mean, during COVID, see, I understand there's so many people out there, doctors, police, men who are doing their jobs, but at the same time, people who are doing the deliveries or who are working in
yeah,
the food industry are equally,
equally
out
important.
there
Yeah.
and be able to survive and not just survive, actually serve.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice to see them, the momentum that they have. We recently opened our flagship store at Bangalore International Airport. It's a little unfortunate that we opened and this COVID came, we couldn't really
Mm-hmm.
sustain. I was at the airport yesterday just to meet with my staff, because I haven't been there in a while, about 10, 12 days, just because of the lockdown and other things. When I went, I could see that it's a very different scene altogether at the airport, but still the kind of smiles that those people had who were managing the counters and looking into this, that itself is quite inspiring. That it feels good that we have actually being able to create such a space or a workspace where people are liking what they're doing, they're enjoying it, and it's an ever evolving and ever learning and an ever growing phase.
Very true. I think definitely, from this video also people are going to inspire a lot.
Sure,
So,
thank you.
ma'am, thanks a lot for giving your time to us. I hope we will be connecting in future as well. So, discussing about more things about your company and
Sure.
how you raised and everything. So, thanks a lot. Just about to wrap up the session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madhumita. It
Thank
was
you,
nice
ma'am. Take
talking to
care.
you
Bye
too.
bye.
Thanks. Bye.